To help the imperial concubine Amy avoid a puddle, the maid lay down on the ground, allowing Amy to step on her to pass. This humble maid was none other than Rose. Years ago, Rose's mother had been Amy's midwife, but because she commented on Amy's body odor, Amy killed her in a fit of rage. When Rose's mother died, she held a birthday gift meant for Rose, a hairpin. At 16, Rose lost her mother on her birthday, and she vowed to make Amy pay in blood. Amy was pleased with Rose's humility and kept her as a servant, sparking jealousy in an older maid. One day, the older maid saw a beautiful hairpin Rose had crafted and secretly took it to present it to Amy, unaware that she was stepping into Rose's trap. When Amy wore the hairpin and made a grand entrance, she stole the spotlight from another concubine, July, and even received praise from the emperor. Just as Amy was about to reward the older maid, the crystals on the hairpin suddenly focused sunlight, heating up until it burst into flames. Amy, who had been beaming moments before, found herself with her hair smoking, prompting merciless laughter from the other concubines. Furious, Amy ordered the older maid to be burned alive, but no one dared to carry it out. At this moment, Rose stepped forward, volunteering to execute the punishment. She raised a torch, removed the hairpin from her own hair, and asked the older maid if she remembered her. Only then did the older maid realize that Rose was the daughter of the midwife she had helped Amy kill. She mocked Rose, saying that Rose alone could never bring Amy down. But Amy's other victims lurked in the palace, awaiting their moment for revenge. As the torch fell, the older maid died amid horrific screams, and Rose declared that her revenge had only just begun. One rainy night, the emperor glimpsed a seductive bare woman through a screen, her pale toes peeking from beneath. It was Rose. She pretended to mistake the emperor for a guard, accusing him of peeking, and left an embroidered sachet behind like a glass slipper as she fled, stirring the emperor's interest. The next day, the emperor ordered a eunuch to search the palace for the sachet's owner. Amy saw this and flew into a rage, determined to find this seductress. Meanwhile, Rose dressed herself elegantly, ignoring her aunt's advice to remain low-key. She even asked her aunt to deliver another sachet to the emperor. When Amy saw Rose dressed to the nines, she was furious and prepared to punish her. The emperor happened upon this scene and scolded Amy for being too harsh. Ignorant of the situation, Amy defended herself, claiming she was merely disciplining a servant, but the emperor responded, "The woman you're punishing is not a servant, but mine." He then elevated Rose to the status of a concubine, equal to Amy, and took her away, leaving Amy seething with rage. Later, the emperor tenderly kissed Rose and she let out a faint hiss of pain. The emperor, concerned that he had hurt her, learned that it was her back injury from Amy's punishment that pained her. Learning of this, the emperor pitied her even more, and their passion grew. Meanwhile, Amy was driven mad with jealousy, resolving to teach Rose a lesson. The next day, she pretended to mediate in front of the emperor, feigning friendship with Rose. Rose, playing along, thanked Amy and suggested that she could even help Amy deal with the concubine July to assist her in claiming the empress's position. At night, Rose proposed that she and the emperor disguise themselves as guard and maid for a tryst, thrilling the emperor. However, this scene was discovered by a eunuch, who reported it to July. Furious, July barged in, accusing Rose of an affair, only to discover that her lover was actually the emperor. Outraged, the emperor punished July harshly. Watching from the sidelines, Amy rejoiced, praising Rose for becoming the emperor's new favorite, while Rose slyly boasted about her favor, making Amy clench her teeth in hatred. On the emperor's birthday, July prepared to play a song for him, hoping to win his favor. Rose seized the chance to showcase her musical talent, overshadowing July. Furious, July plotted to harm Rose during her performance, but the scheme backfired, blinding herself instead. She realized that her failure was due to her maid leaking the plan to Rose. This maid, like Rose, had once suffered because July ignored her pleas for justice. Now, Rose suggested that the doctor need not treat July, letting her experience the consequences of being ignored. Enraged, July tried to strangle Rose, but Rose grinned wickedly, assisting July in choking her until the emperor arrived and witnessed the scene. The emperor, furious, condemned July as mad and had her imprisoned, dismissing her frantic accusations as insanity. Rose arranged for her loyal maid to leave the palace with a generous sum of money. The maid urged Rose to escape with her, warning of the dangers in the palace. But Rose vowed to ensure the ruthless nobles would face justice. One night, Rose pretended to wake from a nightmare, prompting the emperor to comfort her. She mentioned that, had she been the one playing music, she might have been blinded, hinting that it could have been Amy's scheme. The next day, the emperor stripped Amy of her title. Enraged, Amy stormed into the emperor's chambers, only to find him embracing Rose and was thrown out. Unwilling to accept defeat, Amy recruited a woman named Kate to seduce the emperor. Dressed as a female general, Kate quickly caught the emperor's interest and became a concubine. Rose feigned helplessness, regaining the emperor's sympathy and angering Kate. Kate took her rage out on a maid, using her as a target for her archery. Rose stepped in to protect the maid, impressing the emperor with her bravery. When Rose later revealed she was pregnant, the emperor abandoned Kate, forcing her to return alone on horseback. Furious, Kate confronted Rose with a sword. Rose seized the moment to fall, clutching her stomach and pretending to be in pain. When the emperor arrived and saw Rose bleeding, he blamed Kate for causing a miscarriage. In reality, Rose was not pregnant and had framed Kate. Amy, suspecting deceit, came to investigate. Just as Rose's ruse was about to be exposed, the doctor claimed she had lost not one, but 2 babies. Heartbroken, the emperor ordered Kate imprisoned. Later, Rose discovered that the doctor had aided her because she was the mother of the maid Kate had mistreated, and Rose's kindness had saved her. The emperor's affection for Rose grew deeper with each passing day, showering her with gold, silver, and jewels. However, Rose cared nothing for these riches. Instead, she was overcome with sorrow as memories of her loving mother surfaced, and she wept. The emperor, misinterpreting her grief as mourning for the children she had lost, bestowed upon her an even more exalted title. Unable to contain her jealousy any longer, Amy dressed in lavish, seductive attire to try and recapture the emperor's attention. Yet upon seeing her, he was repulsed and promptly dismissed her. Amy, now showing signs of age with gray hairs sprouting on her head, was no longer the beauty she once was, and the emperor's disdain was evident. Enraged, Amy snapped and, in a fit of madness, stabbed the maid who had been helping her with her appearance to death. Desperate, Amy resorted to her last trick, using a secret method to restore her youthful appearance, successfully regaining the emperor's favor. However, Rose detected a faint medicinal scent on Amy and, together with her aunt, investigated the source. They discovered that the potion Amy used to regain her beauty was made from the blood of young girls. When Rose examined Amy's palace, she found only one maid barely clinging to life. All the others had been cruelly murdered. The sole remaining maid, driven by a desire for freedom, finally succumbed as well. Rose unearthed the bodies of 72 girls buried within Amy's palace and presented them before the emperor. Shocked to learn that Amy had turned into a Bloody Mary, the emperor immediately ordered her imprisonment. In the dead of night, Rose finally reached the moment of her ultimate revenge. She brought with her a group of doctors, eunuchs, and maids, all of whom were family members of the servants Amy had once brutally murdered. Their anger manifested in a flurry of stabs, each one delivering justice for the lives Amy had taken. In the end, the wicked Amy met her fate, taking her last breath as she paid the price for her countless sins. At the graves of her departed loved ones, Rose seemed to glimpse her mother's spirit. She understood deeply the suffering that royal privilege had inflicted upon the common people, and she resolved to change it all. In the end, she fulfilled her ambitions, ascending to the position of empress, enacting laws to protect the rights of the commoners and curtail the privileges of the nobility, finally bringing peace to the spirits of her family.